This year's theme focuses on technology, on digital technology, but we are going to be looking at Gibraltar's wildlife more generally, and we're going to be focusing especially on the amount of wildlife that can be observed in that tiny area that comprises Parsons Lodge, which, as I hope people will find tomorrow, is home to a surprising amount of wildlife.
People will also have the opportunity of seeing the Gons Raptor unit. They'll be there. Children and adults alike will be able to see these animals up close, speak to the people who work with them, and understand a little bit about these amazing animals too.
And when we consider the climate emergency and biodiversity loss, what's the importance of having that direct, up close contact with nature?
I think, I mean, the two are very closely related, of course, but I think that in parts they're two different things. We can talk about the climate emergency as something that affects humans without necessarily considering biodiversity, and vice versa. But the importance of biodiversity, I mean, apart from the sort of the ethical arguments, if you like, about the value of life and respect for life, it's also very important to consider ecosystem services, the services, if you like, that ecosystems and that species provide. And in general terms, I mean, when people have exposure to nature, they tend to value it, and when people are isolated from nature, then not so much. So it's extremely important to bring people close to nature.
We talk about the climate emergency, and I think people often forget, or it overshadows the biodiversity emergency that we're living. You know, we're looking at, we've lost more or less 70% of the world's wildlife in the last 4 or 5 decades. It's ridiculous. People talk a lot about the sea. Let's not forget about the land. Let's not forget about the birds, the insects, and everything else. So hopefully trying to get through to people, trying to talk to the younger generation. They're the ones that are going to be involved in the future, and help and encourage, try to find ways of being able to fix this situation, or at least stall.
The hope will surely come from a groundswell in appreciation, and I'm very confident that on the whole, young people, including children, especially children, are a lot more worried about the natural environment than are adults.